Hello and welcome to TA for Traders. It is Friday the 8th of December. In this video we'll be looking at two UK and two US stocks. In the UK we'll be looking at GVC Holdings. They've announced a potential merger with Ladbrokes Coral. It sent the share price up. We'll look at the technicals there, which do look good. We'll then be looking at GlobalWealth investments. They've had a secondary issue that they're quoted on the London Stock Exchange, but quoted in euros. They managed to raise 340 million euro at a premium. So we'll look at the charts there, which again do look good. Then in the US, we'll look at an old favourite, Nvidia. Has broken down slightly. We'll catch up on the technicals there, and then to finish off we'll look at PartyCity, which is having a secondary which will price in the next couple of hours. They're raising around 134 million, which is about 8% of the market cap. Let's look at those charts. So starting with GVC Holdings and looking at the weekly, so each candle here represents 1 week's trade, and you can see that in the last couple of days the shares have moved higher. That's confirmed the recent consolidation as a flag. Very positive that we bounced off the 20-week moving average back in July, and really that still looks good technically. Good solid upside momentum. The RSI is at nearly 70, and the MACD is tracking upwards, short term above long term and above zero. On the daily, you can see yesterday's move broke us away from the moving averages, which was good. We also broke into new high ground, again positive. Broke the flag, as I said, on the weekly, and looks like we're going to get some follow through. RSI isn't at the levels that was reached back in October as yet, but it is at 69.82, so showing strong momentum. On this peak, I would hope that it will get above 76, so we don't get a non-confirmation. And the MACD short terms move back above the long term, and that's shouting a buy signal as well. On the 4 hour, very similar. We're just about to get a golden cross as the 20 crosses the 50 moving average on this 4 hour chart. Very good picture on the candles. Not quite an engulfing bullish picture on this last 4 hours, but still a positive that it's broken the trend of two down candles. Momentum is positive. Uptrend on the RSI, that's up at 71.86, and the MACD as well looking good. Shouting that this share should go higher. It's also very positive that the break to the upside was on very high volume. Moving on to GlobalWealth investments, or GlobalWealth real estate investments. They had their secondary, which priced at €8.75, where we're trading at the moment. You can see that on the weekly that's at a new high. It was really positive that they managed to price it above the previous close, what was it, 0.6% above. So that was positive. A premium on the share raising there. All looks good. Momentum strong. RSI 67, and the MACD strong as well. On the daily, not many trades in this share, so it's a bit sporadic, a lot of dots and dashes, but all above the moving averages. We did have a golden cross on the 2050. Hopefully now there's more shares in circulation, there'll be more trading on this share, and you'll see more realistic candles, but it's all looking good. Momentum again. RSI is just going sideways, but it's a high level, 64.25. It would only need move slightly above towards the 9, and that RSI will tick back upwards. And again, not much trading on the 4-hour. Moving averages again created a golden cross. Moving over to America, Nvidia, which we've looked at several times over the last few months. The trend does seem to have been broken slightly on the weekly. We've cracked down. It's good that it found support on that 20-week moving average. That was where we got the bounce up to create the uptrend. Good that it's bounced from there. Does need to stay above that 20-week, which is at 185.11. You can see that this breakdown has affected the momentum. The RSI is down at 58.6 and does now look to be trying to create some kind of shallow downtrend, and that momentum loss was indicated also with the MACD, with the short-term moving below the longer term, although they're still well above zero, and still just trending sideways overall, so not that negative. The key for this weekly is that 20-week moving average. On the daily, you can see that we did fall below the 20 and the 50-day moving average. We're tracking back up towards the 50, which is continuing to rise. I would say we need to get above that 50 next week. That's at 199.26. If we fail to do that next week, the 20 will be close to that 50, and the 50 will start to roll as well. So I don't think we're going to get a bearish cross on those if they do cross over the next, which will be in about 2 weeks. But you need to keep an eye on that. And you can see that momentum has been lost. We are down at 39.92 on the RSI, and the short-term MACD is below zero, so be aware of that. As I said, hopefully the bounce will take us back above that 50-day. I would get concerned if it doesn't, and then we go below the previous low, which I'll just tell you exactly where that is. The low on the 5th was at 180.58. A move back below there would be negative, and then we would see this support being tested, which is the low of the 25th of September, which is at 170.16. So just around where that cross line is on the chart. That's if the support fails from the 5th. I'll tell you again, that's 180.58. You need to watch that carefully and watch that 50-day carefully. Going on to the 4-hour picture, it was good that we bounced off that 200 average. That's presently 183.56. is another level to watch if we move back down. On the upside, however, we have had a bearish cross on the 20 crossing the 50. These will now create resistance. The 20 is at 199.34. The 50 at 206.34. So a bit of a mixed picture coming out of Nvidia. I would say the key is getting back above that 50-day on the this 50-day on the daily. Needs to do that over the next week, 10 days. Moving on to the final stock today, PartyCity. Obviously a recent IPO. They're having a secondary overnight, well today, which will price in the next couple of hours. Doesn't look so good technically. You can see the moving averages causing downside pressure. We've bounced into resistance. I would expect some fallback after this secondary issue. If it falls below the 20-week 13.11, then we could see a fallback towards the 12 level. Momentum is back to neutral. RSI 50.06 and the MACD are flatlining. On the daily, you can see that we're up to the downtrend in longer term 200-day moving average. That is causing resistance. The 20 is moving back up. Didn't create a golden cross with the 50, but it is back above the 50. That would give support at 12.62. But we have got this band of resistance, and this seems to be holding the share. That was from trading 20th of July through to 28th of September. When we were in quite a narrow trading range, but a lot of resistance points in there that we seem to be having trouble overcoming. Let's wait and see. If we do actually trade sideways, of course, then we could have a reverse head and shoulder formation, but that's we're talking a month or two down the road for confirmation of that. Finally, on the 4 hour, again, you could see if it does elongate this trading in the trading range, failing to get through the resistance, it would be a reverse head and shoulders. Let's wait and see. At the moment, we're finding support from the 20 on this 4 hour. 20 did create a bullish cross with the 50. 200 still moving down. That will roll if we can stay above it. The key seems to be holding this 20 moving average. So on the daily and the 4 hour doesn't look as bad, but the weekly did look quite bad on this PartyCity. So that's been TA for traders. I've cracked through 4 shares again. If you found it I was going too fast, just rewind and look at the share that you're interested in. In the UK, we looked at GVC Holdings and GlobalWealth Real Estate Investments. Then in the States, we looked at Nvidia and PartyCity. Thanks for watching the video. Please do remember these videos are for information only and are my opinion, and they're not an investment recommendation.